The Rebbe's carriage sped through the swirling mists of a Russian morning. Inside the carriage, the Rebbe and his shamus, his equerry, sat in silence. All that could be heard was the dull thud of hooves cantering on thin turf. Suddenly, the Rebbe told the shamus to stop the carriage. The carriage came quickly to a rest. The horses snorted and whinnied, pawing the ground with their hooves. Then there came up from the field the most beautiful sound, the distant song of a shepherd singing. The Rebbe listened intently. His brow was creased as though he was trying to remember something. Suddenly his eyes narrowed, his mouth widened with a smile. "Please ask that shepherd to come here," he said to the shamus. "When I heard you," said the Rebbe to the shepherd, "I thought what a beautiful song you were singing. Would you mind singing it for me again?" "Sure, why not?" said the peasant. He began to sing the tune again. "Beautiful," said the Rebbe, when the shepherd had finished singing it. "Now let me see, it goes like this." And the Rebbe began to sing the tune note for note precisely as he'd heard it. "Yes, that's it, exactly," said the peasant. "I wonder," said the Rebbe, "would it be asking too much of you if you could sing it for me just one more time?" "All right," said the peasant, and he opened his mouth to sing. Nothing came out. He closed his mouth and tried again. Nothing. Politely, the Rebbe wished him good morning, climbed back into the carriage. The Rebbe and his shamus sat in silence in the carriage for a good few minutes, and then the shamus couldn't contain himself anymore. What happened back there? "When I heard that peasant singing," said the Rebbe, "I realized he was singing one of the songs that the Leviim, the Levites, sang in the Holy Temple, the Beit HaMikdash. For 2,000 years, that tune has been in exile, passed from one stranger to the next, wandering from one country to another. That peasant was like a shell containing a precious spark of holiness. As soon as the spark had been returned to its owners, the Jewish people, there was no further need for him to remember the tune, and so he forgot it." At the beginning of this week's Torah portion, Masei, the Torah lists the 42 places where the Jewish people camped in the desert on their way to Eretz Israel. What is the reason for these 42 stops in the desert? There's a mystical concept that there are sparks of holiness in this world that are trapped in the desert's emptiness. The purpose of the Jews wandering in the desert for so long was to release and gather these sparks. Each of the 42 places they stopped corresponds to a letter of the great name of Hashem of 42 letters. And so, by gathering the sparks from each place, a little more of God's name, His presence, His revelation in this world was revealed. 3,000 years later, the Jewish people are still wandering. 100 years here, 200 years there, on our journeys through Spain, England, China, America, the Jewish people free the sparks of holiness that are trapped throughout the world. And when this process is complete, the Mashiach, the Messiah, the Anointed One, will gather all the Jewish people to the land of Israel. And on that day, Hashem will be one and His name one, and all the songs of holiness will be heard once again.